Welcome to Hockey Skate Down. My name is Joe, and today I want to talk about something that was very interesting that I came across. Everybody's favorite TV analyst, Pierre McGuire, said some comments that the NHL cap for the upcoming year, if NHL stays the course that it's on now with no games resuming, could fall as much as 25 to 40%. Think about that. So let's talk about it. Before this all happened, the NHL was okay. The cap was going to go up this upcoming summer from 84 to 88 million, 88 being the max. And that would have offered a lot of teams a lot of help to, bring in some free agents and help out with their cap as it stands now. But then the NHL went on pause. And if everything stayed the same, the NHL would have lost a lot of money. They mentioned numbers of like $1 billion or something like that. And this would happen. But then they started talking about if hockey comes back in July, August. And then those cap things didn't happen as much, but then they started talking about compliance buyouts. And from what I heard at that point, it was only one. Now I'm reading into it, and there's a lot more that could happen. So, let's get into what I wrote here. They said if NHL resumes in July, August, talks of a compliance buyout per team. If it doesn't resume, they talked of 2 compliance buyouts. And I've read some articles where they even mentioned 3 compliance buyouts, which is just insane to think about. And I'll mention exactly what Pierre McGuire said. He said, as it stands, under Hoyle's rules, the cap could fall to 25 to 40%. If the cap fell to 25%, you're spending a limit of $61 million. Now, I just want to ask you guys and girls, go to Cap Friendly right now. Look at how many teams are in the 81, 80, and then there's a lot of teams that are 81 and up, 81, 80 and up. I'll say it that way. And I found 5 teams. The lowest 5 teams, you have Columbus Blue Jackets with 76 million, Colorado Avalanche with 76 million, which with their roster, it's just phenomenal to think that way. LA Kings has 74 million, Ottawa Senators have 74 million, and New Jersey Devils have 72 million. So they wouldn't be in as much trouble as the ones above them, but the ones above them are like 80, 81 million. That's just, you're knocking off $21 million in cap space. It's insane to think about. It really is. Some teams would have to shed $20 million just to be cap compliant. A few teams could do that with 2 compliance buyouts. And they said that UFA players, this is the main thing that's going to happen this summer, is all these UFA players, they're going to have to take drastic pay cuts. You have players like Hall, Pietrangelo, Krug, Barry, Nhlpa. You have a lot of big names out there, and they're expecting to cash in big time, and they're not going to get as much as they're thinking. They're really not. And you're going to see probably a lot of these players signing 1-year deals for lesser money and then hit it big on their next deal the following year if the NHL goes back to normal after all this, which they said this thing could come back next fall and wreak more havoc. So who knows then? I really don't know. So and then, Gary Bettman's been saying a lot about, it resuming and what's going to happen when it resumes. They're throwing around playing possibly in North Dakota, South Dakota, one of those, playing where there's not a lot of known cases, because there's certain areas across the country that have it hit worse than other places. So they may play in a place that doesn't have as many cases there, which is smart. And then they talked about the possibility of not having fans in attendance, which I'm a wrestling fan too. And when I watch wrestling now, ever since this all happened, it's very odd to watch it without fans. I never thought, I know the fans are a big experience of any sporting event, but to watch wrestling without fans, it's hard to watch. It really is. The timing is off. Everything is off. It's very odd to watch it. But I don't think with other sports it would be as bad. Because, sports entertainment with wrestling, it's a little bit different where they feed off the crowd and everything. I know sports do too, but not as much as wrestling. So it may be different with other sports. It may be bad, but it's going to be something to get used to. But as long as we get to have our sporting events back in this hard time, because I know sports does do a lot for people. It may help people relieve them from the pressures of everything that's going on. I know it does that for me. Having cabin fever of some sort has been hard these past couple of months. So maybe it would help out some people, with their everyday life. I don't know. Just hopefully sports comes back, to help out certain people. So, Gary Bettman did say about coming back that there's 7 teams that were on the bubble of possibly contending for a playoff spot. And not all teams played same number of games. So we have to do something fair for all the teams. So that's why you started hearing of will they finish off the rest of the year? In my opinion, I hope they do come close to finishing some sort of games. For the teams that don't have any shot at the playoffs, I want to see my team play a couple more games. I want to see some of our players lace them up for another 5-6 games. I know there's more than that, but even if it's 5-6 games of seeing our players play until next year, that'd be great. But then they talked about having a playoff format where it's more teams that are involved than what they usually do. So the more the time passes, I think it will you'll hear more and more stuff. But I thought this cap issue was really interesting to talk about, because you have a lot of teams that are going to have to make a lot of moves. They're going to have to either make out a couple of buyouts, or it's just going to be a very, very interesting summer with this whole thing. You're going to see a lot of player movement. You're going to see a lot of teams scrambling to make moves and other stuff like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this whole thing, and how late this gets pushed back, and all the events like the draft lottery, the draft, the UFA period, UFA signing for everybody. It's going to be very interesting to see when that happens and when next season kicks off, because you're going to have some time in between for players to to relax a little bit. I know they had a time off, but they need that time after a long playoff run to rest their bodies and recoup. So, we'll see what happens. If anything happens again, anything interesting, I'll do another video on it. Comment below. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. And, thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Helps the channel grow when you hit that like button. And when you subscribe to the channel, it helps me out. So, thank you all for watching. Please have a great night. Have a great day tomorrow. Take it easy. Be safe.